What's up, everybody? It's D Dot, and on behalf of Nerdcore Movement, today I am going to be reviewing Season 2, The Flash, Episode 18 versus Zoom. Now, for so far in this episode, everything in there was positive for me. I didn't see any negatives whatsoever. I liked the chemistry between all of the characters, which led up to the very big moment at the end that I will talk about. I'm going to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and what are my speculations for the next episode. Now, I've already said that I'm not going to say anything that I didn't like about the episode, so it's going to be pretty much all good, and then what I expect to see in the next episodes. The beginning for me is always the origin stories for a character, even if it's the villain, especially if it's the villain. It can be a very powerful thing in an episode, or even a fact for a movie, for example. And just the beginning, showing the beginning of Zoom, which we found out his name later is Hunter Zolomon, on why he is the way he is because of what happened with his father, killing him in front of his mother, and going into an orphan family or an orphanage where nobody wanted to take care of him, and he began on his rampage into becoming Zoom. And the fact that how he got his powers when the particle accelerator went off on Earth 2, I thought was fantastic because they were able to do that scene without any words. Just being able to pick the music and no words alone, I thought was able to explain a lot of things that was going on. I love when people can explain things that happen that you don't need to say what happened. You can just look and be able to visually see the coffee rising up, the lightning everywhere, and all of a sudden he's doing the whole handshaking thing like you can do with the actual Flash character. So I thought that was very strong to actually finally show why he became the way that he is. Next for me is I've been bashing on Wally a lot during the show, but now because of the relationship when he's actually moving in with Joe, I thought they were able to become a lot tighter to not where he's going to start calling him dad all the time, but I mean, he did say dad for the first time in this episode, so I think that they were finally becoming to break ground with each other and actually become that father and son combination that a lot of people do have. The next one for me was actually Cisco. I love the aspect that Cisco had once we were able to get his goggles to the correct frequency for Earth 1 for him to actually use his powers like Reverb did in Earth 2. I love the fact that he was afraid of the power that he possessed. And using the Anakin Skywalker and the Star Wars story to explain that, which was fantastic, so you could dumb it down for the audience so everybody knows exactly what he's going through. Just because you have a whole bunch of power does not mean that you should use it, and a lot of people know that this quote that power can corrupt absolutely. So just because you have that power and the fact that you know that you can do all of these amazing things can come backlash for you once you actually find out that nobody can do anything about what you're doing, so that power does corrupt you and it consumes you, hence him talking about Darth Vader and going actually to the dark side. And the last thing that I really liked was not so much the fighting between Zoom and the Flash, was the fact when they were talking to each other. And he kind of used that same line that Punisher used on Daredevil while he was saying, you know, you're one bad day away from being me. The same thing happened to both of us, except my dad actually killed my mother. And I thought that was perfect just because it showed that last difference between the actual two, to where Barry was saying, I am not a bad guy. You are the monster. I am not. I chose a different path. And then seeing the fact that Zoom was actually able to break out of the containment trap that the Flash placed on him still shows me that we have not fully gotten into in depth of how fast Zoom actually is. And the fact that there is no one out there that he cares about. He planned this from the beginning once the breach opened up, that he needed to find another double. He went in the past and found himself in order to play two people at the same time, and you got to be a cold hard bastard to do something like that. So I find that part fantastic so far, and I'm very excited to see what goes on next now that Barry has made the ultimate sacrifice and giving up his powers for Wally. Based on everything that Joe and that family has done for him ever since he lost his parents, he felt that this is something that he needed to do in order to remain that good person. You don't always have to have your powers to be considered a good person. So now I speculate that obviously I think it's going to come up to another one of those villain of the week things, to where we're going to have a speedless Flash having to take down a villain. Now, will that villain be a metahuman? I'm not 100% sure, but this is probably going to be one of those, we work as a team, or you're going to have to, your villain is stronger than you, so you have to be smarter than him. So, and I think that's how it's going to go down, in which it will ultimately go back into Barry getting his powers back to face Zoom, I'm assuming, one more time. And who the hell is the guy in the Iron Mask? Is it Leo? I have no idea. But anyway, to top this off, I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. I thought this was a phenomenal episode, one of my favorites of the year, just because it had so much back and forth between the villains. And I'm more of a villains person nowadays, to where the villains always have more fun, or they have the more backstories. So I think everything is going to be fantastic that leads up into the next week, whoever the villain is. So like I said, I'm going to give it a 9.5. 9. We're going to go with a 9 out of 10 today. And I just wanted to thank everybody for watching my show. You can follow Nerdcore Movement on any other social media websites out there. That's the Facebook, the YouTube pages, and the Twitters. For me, I finally got my legal name across all of the social media boards. So you can follow me at Daryl Smith. That's DAROL SMITH on all of it: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my YouTube page. So make sure you guys follow me. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and I love you all. Peace.